If you want to start renting your car out on Turo, there are a few important things that you should be aware of before you start. This video will save you time, earn you money, and make your experience as a host so much easier. I started renting my car out on Turo 3 months ago. Since then, I've picked up some useful tips that I wish I knew when I started. I'm not here to waste your time. I'm not here to sell you a course. These are the things I wish I knew when I started my Turo business. Number one, you should not be emotionally attached to your car. If you really love your car, Turo is not the business for you. Your Turo customers do not care about your car. They're gonna bring it back dirty and they're gonna bring it back damaged. And sometimes you won't be able to get reimbursed for that damage. Sometimes guests are wonderful. Sometimes they bring it back clean and undamaged, but other times they will abuse it. So if you are emotionally attached to your car, you are in for some heartbreak. Number two, Turo is not your friend. When you think about it from the standpoint of their business, they generally don't benefit from helping you instead of helping the guest. If you have a conflict with the guest, they will generally side with the guest. Furthermore, as far as I'm aware, the bulk of their customer support team is in India and they get paid $4 an hour. Of course, $4 an hour does not provide a lot of incentive to give you a good support experience. But tips 3 and 4 are going to help you defend yourself against Turo scamming you. The first way you can protect yourself from Turo hanging you out to dry is through good personal insurance. Even though Turo provides insurance for your trips, you're still required to have your own personal insurance on the car. If it's your personal car and you're driving it regularly, then this probably makes complete sense to you and you can just continue with whatever personal insurance you have now. You just have to make sure that your provider allows Turo. But if you're looking to scale this into a larger business, say 10 cars, you need to consider a more comprehensive and detailed insurance plan. The problem with keeping personal insurance on 10 cars is that 99% of the time that the cars are being driven, they're covered by Turo insurance. You only need your personal insurance to cover the very little amount of time that you drive these cars in between trips. You need an insurance policy that acknowledges the fact that Turo insurance covers your car for 99% of the driving. If you're in the States, American Business Insurance provides a pretty good option, specifically tailored to small rental car fleets. Turo also partners with an insurance provider called Tint to cater directly to small rental fleet owners like us. I live in Canada, and if you've watched my earlier video on Turo, you'd know that there are really no good insurance options for Canadians. So before you get started, check what sort of insurance is available in your country. Tip number 4, and the second way to protect yourself from Turo scamming you, is to take really good pictures. Right now, I'm talking about pre-trip photos in case your car gets damaged. In the event that your car comes back with damage, you need to provide pre-trip photos of the same place that damage is in order to prove that the damage was incurred during the trip. These photos should be well lit, high quality, and abundant. Turo typically recommends you take about 15 exterior photos and 10 interior photos, but honestly, I think 25 photos is not enough. I'm typically taking between 50 and 80 photos per trip. Make sure to get close-up photos of the areas that are likely to be damaged, such as low down on the corners of the bumpers. Like we said before, Turo tends to side with the guest instead of the host. So if a guest damages your car, Turo is going to find every reason to not blame it on the guest and just put it on you and make it your responsibility. You can protect yourself from this by taking a lot of photos. If Turo wants to side with the guest, all they have to say is that your pre-trip photos were not good enough. So make sure they cannot say that. Make your pre-trip photos abundant and detailed. The fifth thing to consider is that the market is very seasonal. Depending on where you live, demand for Turo cars throughout the year can fluctuate a lot. In any city that's cold, winter tends to be very bad. I live in Toronto, and here where we get snow, January, February, and March tend to perform quite poorly. And that will probably be somewhat the same in any city that gets a lot of snow. For a handful of American cities, Turo actually posts the monthly trends of market demand in the area. Alternatively, you can go into your Turo app and look at how similar cars in your area have historically performed at different times in the year. Also consider why people tend to travel to your city. Consider when the tourism industry is big and when people are taking vacations, and consider when the business travel season is. As I'm bringing this video to an end, we have to remember the Turo business is not for everybody. I'm not here saying that it's in the top 5 best side hustles of 2025. No. If you have your own car and it sounds interesting to you, then it's a great business. But there are a lot of things to consider. And if you did watch my previous video, you'd know that I'm actually shutting my Turo business down because of the seasonal market and the high insurance costs in my area. There's definitely a lot to consider before you go out and spend thousands of dollars on a car to put on Turo. And these are 5 big things that I wish I had considered before getting into the business. But whether you're interested in Turo or another type of business, I've got more content on the way to help you learn right alongside me. And no matter what business you're trying right now, I believe in you. Go get rich.